Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks, and I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And I'm so grateful to be joining you on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We are about an hour and a half removed from Arizona State practice today. Um, and it was a beautiful practice. Great way to bounce back from an unfortunate loss to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And as you all know, the Sun Devils are now unranked for the first time since November of last year. And that is an unfortunate reality of losing a game to a program that was considered among the worst, if not the worst, in the SEC. But I fully believe in the Sun Devils to bounce back over the rest of the season, and they will get opportunity after opportunity coming up to prove themselves once again. And we'll see. This begins with Texas State on Saturday, and I will get into what Coach Brian Ward, Coach Kenny Dillingham, and quarterback Sam Levitt had to say about the Texas State Bobcats after practice today. But first, I wanted to get into a little bit of just discussing practice. So today, both they were both outside and in the dome. There were scouts from three NFL teams there. I believe it was the Cardinals, the Bears, and I can't remember the third team, but there were three teams at practice scouting out Arizona State. And it was a practice that was predicated by offensive dominance. Zechariah Sample made several impressive catches in drills. Jordan Tyson continued to do his thing. Kamari Anderson continues to really stand out as a pass catcher, as a legitimate, consistent option for Sam Levitt outside of Jordan Tyson. Even though he hasn't brought in a catch this year, I believe he will get going very soon. He just has a nice rapport with Sam Levitt. He's very, very good when it comes to finding the soft spot in zones. Very sure hands. I don't know why he wasn't doing much production wise at Kentucky, but he's at Arizona State now, and things are looking up for him. And then Jaron Hamilton. It was another good day for Jaron Hamilton. The Alabama transfer is yet to haul in a catch this season, but as I've told you time and time again, he's been incredibly impressive during fall camps. He it really is a pristine practice player for the most part. You'll see the occasional drop, but he's a phenomenal route runner, very precise. He has the afterburner in his game. He's very intelligent. He's a quality and willing blocker. He has a little bit of everything in his arsenal, and let's see if that finally gets put to use this week against Texas State. And before we get into the comments that the coaches made and Sam Levitt made, I need to shout out Kanye Udo. I've kind of been hyping up Kanye Udo as one of the X factors of the Arizona State offense this season. Obviously, Kyson Brown always had the advantage to be the de facto lead back. Obviously, I don't believe that any running back is going to get workhorse, quote unquote, carries this season. But Kyson was always the guy that had the inside track to be the guy who gets the most carries. But now he's injured. Um, and it doesn't look like he's going to play this week. Kenny Dillingham said as much yesterday during his press conference. And now it's the Raleek Brown and Kanye Udo show. Kanye Udo, there was a lot of intrigue and a lot of skepticism surrounding him heading into spring camp, into fall camp. On one side, he looks the part of a Cam Scatterboo in terms of being a downhill runner. But the negators were saying that the detractors were saying that he isn't as explosive. He has to learn a completely new offense, and he's not a great pass catcher. He's proven all those wrong. He looked very, very explosive in Tuesday's practice. His pass catching chops have shown up. in game two, not only in practice, and he's just been a phenomenal downhill runner. He's very, very smart. He's very, very astute. Obviously, has adjusted beautifully into Marcus Arroyo and Kenny Dillingham's offensive scheme. And I think that him and Raleek Brown are really going to be a lightning and thunder duo on Saturday. We'll see what happens when Kyson Brown returns, because I still believe Kyson's probably the best of both worlds in terms of receiving ability, rushing ability, and blocking, adding that in as well. But when you have three backs that are as talented as that and as tangibly productive as they are, that's a great problem to have. And running back isn't one of the major question marks of this team to this point, and that can be looked at as a victory to me. Sean Aguano has once again done a phenomenal job, and he deserves all the flowers in the world for that. Now let's get on to what the coaches had to say about Texas State. As we know, Texas State played host to Arizona State last season, right around a year ago this time. That was considered the biggest game in the history of the program under former NFL quarterback J.G. Kinney. They were considered a potential dark horse as a group of five contender in the college football playoff picture. They were hosting Arizona State, and they nearly got the win. Arizona State narrowly won 31-28, as most of you likely remember. But at the same time, they lost quite a bit, including quarterback Jordan McLeod. But as Kenny Dillingham has said time and time again over the last few days, they have a talented team. They are one of the most dynamic and most sizable offensive lines in all of college football. They have very, very twitchy defensive backs and defensive linemen. They have a very productive receiver in Bo Sparks that has already secured 5 touchdown catches in 2 games this season. He averages nearly 20 yards a catch. They have a decent kicker. They have a rushing attack that has averaged nearly 7 yards a carry. And they have a quarterback in Brad Jackson that has mostly impressed throughout the season so far. He's completed 65% of his passes. He's run for 2 touchdowns. He's averaged 11 yards per attempt. He's only taken 2 sacks. So Texas State is not a team that should be taken for granted by Arizona State. Sam Levitt kind of talked about how they do a lot of the same things this year that did last year in terms of looks-wise on defense. The offense, Brad Jackson is still a freshman, a redshirt freshman, so he doesn't quite have the experience that Jordan McLeod does, and he has not played a defense that's anywhere near the caliber of Arizona State's to this point. But Arizona State has to watch out. This is a sneaky good team. They've averaged 47.5 points per game this season. They really do look like a team that could be a sleeper once again for a college football playoff spot. So we shall see what happens with them. Brian Ward went at length discussing the offensive line, the overall talent that they have, the running game that, as I said, has been super proficient. And Kenny Dillingham talked about one of the plays that Brad Jackson made last week against UTSA, and just wow. I watched that play and just wow. They really do have a considerable ceiling heading into this game against Arizona State. Obviously, the game has to be played. We have to see what happens. Arizona State has 2 touchdown favorites. They should get the job done at Mountain America Stadium, but this isn't a Northern Arizona matchup. This is a step above, a step and a half above, and they are going to have all hands on deck for this matchup. And that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks. Please follow me on X/Twitter at KHicks_21. I will be at practice on Wednesday. I will be at the game on Saturday night, giving you live updates, video content, press conference content, and everything in between. And thank you so much for all of your support, and I will see you guys tomorrow.